Hey guys, I didn't think anybody would show up at this hour, to be honest, so, but, welcome, welcome Max, welcome JM, welcome Draven. I can't be too loud, my family is sleeping, but, welcome. I'm just doing some late night work. I hate ZBrush. It's a necessary evil, but I hate it sometimes. I feel like there's an easier way to do what I'm trying to do right now. Hey, Telkri. There's definitely an easier way to do what I'm trying to do right now. I'm just trying to get that midsection of the mouth completely out so I can focus on the jaw, but there's definitely an easier way to do it than I'm doing. Yeah, ZBrush is a pain in my ass. Probably my least favorite software. But like I said earlier, necessary evil for the job at hand. That's not what I want to know. Just having your morning coffee? Nice, man. This overly compiled software. Yeah. I gotta tell you, my professor, when he assigned me a ZBrush project back in my school days, he knew he wasn't getting the best work. I still suck at using it. Alright, they're looking like there's no real way to just remove that chunk in the center. Damn. Oh well. Not completely anyway. You're gonna keep chipping at it though, I suppose. Try to clay brush, and it can, but I don't think it'll. I tried that the other way earlier as well. That'll have to do for right now. Because I don't want to spend all day trying to get that jaw to go all the way back. Plus, not the most crucial thing. The mouth? Well, human mouths in ZBrush I find easier if they're closed. If you have open mouth, you have to worry about teeth and such for like animation. Obviously, that's a different story. But, I'd say generally, I do fairly well. probably make the teeth subtweets. Oh, Darcilius. How you doing, man? Open mouth's horrible, yeah. Safe Wager says it'll be an absolute nightmare. Yo, you want a modeler's help? I am one. So, I'm getting my own help. If, you mean, do I want your help? If you want to throw out advice, that's perfectly fine. If I counteract it or ignore it, that's just warning you I might. Not trying to be rude, but I have my own workflow process. I suck at ZBrush, so I can probably understand if someone thinks I'm not used to doing stuff like this. I like Maya a lot better. That's because I just don't like sculpting. Never been very good at it. Oh, okay. You want me to... Alright, you want me to hire you? And... how much would that run me? And it would speed things along if I had more people helping me. But, I'm also trying to save money where I can. And the one thing I'm confident at, for the most part, is 3D modeling. One thing I definitely got education in, at the very least. But, that all depends. And if you just want a prompt for a private project, I can give you that any day. But if you want me to hire you, depending on your rates, if you want to talk like business and stuff like that, you could hop on the Discord and send me a couple messages, and if your rates are something I can afford, alongside also keeping up with Pierce's work I need to pay him for, I wouldn't mind doing that. It looks like a pit bull. Well, at least that's a good thing, though. At least it looks canine so far. So, apparently I'm not that rusty with ZBrush. Kudos where I can afford it. Yes, it's weird. It's definitely weird doing all of this with stylus. I never liked how ZBrush navigates. Did the chat freeze? That hasn't moved in a minute. Now I can still scroll on it. No, looks like it's done. Internet. But yeah, if you're still there, man, dude, yeah, prefer to reach out to me over on the Discord, and be perfectly fine talking rates with you. Is it? No, chat is still alive. Okay, I wasn't sure. It just stopped. It just stopped. Which, you know, that just means someone's not chatting sometimes, but also sometimes it means it's frozen. I used to just assume it meant no one was chatting and then it was really dead. That has happened, but I also had a couple of cases where people sent like over like a dozen different messages, and none of them were showing up for some reason because YouTube's weird. So that has happened as well. Maybe I should stream at this time more often. I'm surprised there's as many people hopping in and chatting and saying hi as there is, honestly. I was expecting to be sitting here with no one in the chat for like the entire time. Just something extra to watch if people want to see a general workflow of what I do. Oh, I just realized the ears. Ears are gonna be bitch. Kind of, sort of. Hopefully not. It's funny as I'm listening to heavy metal while trying to talk at a normal volume. Or a slightly lower than a normal volume, so I don't wake anybody up in the house. I have paranoia. Oh, you're working on 3D model yourself? Nice. What software do you use? Blender? Or are you something more like Maya? .3ds Max, okay. I never got into 3ds Max. It was just never the software I liked. Maya's always been my favorite. Even though Maya can be a bitch. Maya is a temperamental woman. You got to know how to soothe her soul, and if you don't, or you don't sacrifice your goats that day, oh boy, she can be temperamental. In my Chinese text, Sounds like the licensing might be off with your Maya usage then. That's typically what I see being like the core root cause of stuff like that. But it's not universal. My teeth are gonna be a bitch. And I have to deal with because reasons. Yeah, when the teeth are in, it's gonna look a lot better. But like I said, there's gonna be some stuff. So then I got a solid dog face so far. I mean, to be fair though, this kind of reminds me of a pup I had when I was a kid. I'm trying to think of his name. Bo, I think? Oh man, it's been so many years. But he was a pit bull. He was a pit bull boxer mix, and he had that big, wide, smile-like face. It's hilarious. I loved him to death, though. He was a good pup. A very good pup. The best of pups. Anyone was wondering what I'm listening to, by the way? I'm listening to Army of the Night, Power Wolf. Oh, no problem. Very concerned, Quispy. I'm a late night worker, mainly. Back in my old job with the Navy, I'd be up right now working on foundation designs for them. That was my life for a long time. Alright, see you later, Justidius. Thank you for hopping in. Army of the Night? Definitely. Always. That and Sanctos Dominos are my favorites that they do. This is gonna look really weird. I'm completely failing at getting the, I don't know why, but I think I'm subconsciously trying to draw a Pitbull at this point. Or draw mold. Much better. Will all the finished models be kit bash friendly? Yes. Anytime. My goal is to make them bits like that you glue together. That way you can have customization. With resin printing, there is going to be a little bit of challenge with that on my end for like splicing everything, but that's something I don't want you guys to worry about. That's something I'm working on. If I can get an industrial printer at some point, that'd be great, because that way I can just set up like sprues. But I'll have to start with resin printers for sure, because I already know how to use those, and that's why I'm doing all my prototyping in. But my goal is, yes, for them to be kit bash friendly. Oh, thank you, Nathan. Oh, now you want to stream. Yeah, I just, wanted to continue working, and, I'm a late night worker kind of guy anyway, so... Crap, what was my intensity at? Must have been like 20. When I sculpt their junk. Well, I rationale that even the Wrathan would want to protect their lower bits. I mean, you can't do all the graping you want to do if you don't got the lower bits. So, and I also want to be able to sell these in non-adult only sections of shops. So, unfortunately, no. I might do like a limited time, like, no joke though, if people really actually wanted that shit, I would probably try and figure out how to do a limited time thing. Hey, Billy Mo. Okay, that's a better reference. They got really big ears, damn. Oh no, their ears also don't... Okay, they face like forward. Shit. I don't... Much better. I still got a much bigger noggin. Boom. Oh shit, good luck fixing that. Ha, I already did. It was an easier fix than I realized. It's still not quite the same though as like a pure hyena's ears, but it's pretty close. Their noses pop out a lot more than I thought though. Grape flavor. Really? Alright. So. Oh, can you guys hear the music? Oh, shit. I was hoping you guys couldn't. YouTube's gonna copyright my ass. Well, I don't care if they do demonetize the stream, as long as they don't take down the stream. But yeah, that is Powerwolf, Army of the Night. I guess I was playing it so loud you guys could hear it through my headphones. Oh wait, no. Or is, I hope not, but... Okay, good. Desktop is not being captured on YouTube. That would be bad. What platforms are you considering releasing all the fluffy lore novels? I would love to get them as soon as they drop. Well, the full novels I intend to sell as like actual books. I'll probably see about recording my own audiobook, like me myself doing it. Unless, like, during the recording I know I don't sound right. Then I'll see if I can hire somebody. Not for dirt cheap, but for cheaper. I know a family member of mine who's been trying to get into doing stuff like that, like audiobooks and stuff. So, that's an option. So other than hardcover, softcover, and audiobook, I'm gonna see about other digital distribution. I'm still looking at different places. Some places actually make you pay, others cover the costs of actually publishing it, as long as you provide like all the files and everything. So I don't have a definitive answer for like a digital distribution of the novels, but for hardcover and stuff like that, I'll probably just open up a online store somewhere. Might be able to sell it via Amazon. Yeah, still looking over options like that, but one of the Kickstarter tiers I'm hoping to include is also going to include a reward of a hardcover of the first novel I'm working on. But that's down the line as well. How's that look compared to like where I started? It was just enough to make out the song, but not enough to copyright you. I hope you're right. Yeah, I'm listening to really loud Powerwolf. I've had this song on a loop though for a few minutes. Weird thing. Even when I worked for the Navy, when they let me listen to music late at night, I gotta share a story with you guys. Love the nose. Awesome. I gotta share a story with you guys. So when I was working for the Navy, I pulled a lot of long late nighters. I worked second shift, and typically my hours for second shift in the design office in the cubicle farm, I would normally, if I could, I would do overtime, and which meant, because our normal shift looked like 4 p.m. to 12, as in midnight. That was our normal second shift, but if you did overtime, you stayed till like 1 a.m., 3 a.m. sometimes. And on the nights I would do that, most people would leave at midnight, as there's the standard shift. Everybody would get up, they would get out of the cubicle farm, and normally it would be me, maybe one model manager, and that really was it most of the time. Even the normal actual manager and supervisor would leave. There would be like one supervisor in the whole office, but not like your personal supervisor typically would leave, especially mine. And I couldn't blame him, you know, who wants to, just because other people are doing overtime, why would he want to stay 4 extra hours? He's salary, he wasn't paid the money to do that. Yeah, I would sit there in an office meant to house like 80, 90 designers by myself virtually, and I cannot stress the level of just not creeped out, not scared, but like, you ever get those like vibes of like the walls are kind of closing in kind of thing? Like, again, not like you're like creeped out by like the silence or the lack of people. What's scaring you is something more fundamental than that, and that's what was happening. That's what happened to me. Well, every time that happened, it made me really want to avoid doing the overtime, but I really needed the money at the time, so I didn't have much of a choice. But I still remember how it felt to be in the office during those hours and to just be sitting in a silent cubicle farm working. Like, if I wasn't focusing on my work, I thought I would lose my mind. Like, it was just so quiet, just so eerie. Hell, the janitors would, if they came in and started cleaning, it scared me almost. Like someone else is in the actual office. The isolation, yeah, it's just... I think that was probably the most surreal thing working in that industry, was that aspect. Like, say what you will about like the corporate vibe or the super serious nature of what I was doing. You know, working for the military is a lot of secrecy. If you ask me, all of that was nothing by comparison. Like the NDA, the secrecy, all of that was stressful. But those nights when you would just sit there working your ass off all night until like 3 a.m. those were the worst days, man. Those were the worst days, because I just remember leaving each of those shifts like almost feeling like the apocalypse had happened or something. Like obviously logically I knew like not everyone, like there's other people out there. It's just like it fucked with me. I'm not gonna lie. First couple times I was like, yeah, I'm the only one in the office. I could just sit here and goof off, except for the security camera that would show me just not doing my job. But no, at some point you needed to work that entire time. Like, if you were if you were trying to goof off, I don't know how you would mentally cope, because it's just so eerie in that office. Just sitting there, walls closing in, you're just like, where the fuck is everybody? Like, I don't know. I know it's a creepy story, but I gotta be honest, like that's probably one of the things I miss least about working in that kind of environment, was just that isolation. It is not something I will ever remember fondly. That's for damn sure. Yeah. And just thinking about it, it's just... I won't compare it to PTSD, that's a bit extreme, but I'd compare it to... I ever recalled like a memory and it just kind of fucked with the back of your mind? It's kind of like that. Probably just the office demon saying hello. And yeah, maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past it. I have to close up by myself sometimes for a liquor store that's connected to a warehouse. One of the tasks is to make sure all the warehouse doors are locked in this dimly lit building. Yeah, when I worked retail, I mean, I had to do something similar. I didn't have to do warehouse. Warehouses, I'm sure, would be much more frightening. I can't relate to that, and I'm... But all sympathies out to you, dude. I can't. I probably couldn't do that if I was you. I probably couldn't. But yeah, I've had to close up like, you know, grocery stores I worked at like that. That I've had to do. That was eerie, but it wasn't the same feeling that I got inside that cubicle farm just by myself. Now, something about that was like more primal, of like the lonely fear. Because you gotta understand, like, during second shift, there's like, the office is almost full. There's a shit ton of people walking around, there's supervisors everywhere. There's stuff you gotta do. And you are, you know, you're part of a chain of command, there's things going down. Late at night, other than the janitors, and even when you're leaving, a shipyard meant to be housed by 2,000 plus people per shift, working around the clock, moving around, moving vehicles around, is not dead silent. You know, you can still hear machines whirring and stuff like that for like third shift, which is the skeleton crew. But you don't see anybody, and it's also pitch black because it's so early in the morning. Just walking through, you know, and once you walk to the security desk, and the security officers with their 9mm, you know, they check your ID. They check. One thing that annoyed me about working there though is they also checked our bags. You know, it's national security, so it's not like there was no reason that they were doing that. They had to make sure we weren't like lifting any, like in Design's case, they had to make sure we weren't like trying to sneak out blueprints and shit and sell them on the black market somewhere. But they also, you know, checked for other things in your bag, like drugs. That was at one point that was a huge problem in the yard, in the shipyard. The actual like steel workers and welders and all that, the general laborers who actually worked on the ship, like the physical ship, as opposed to us designers. There was a huge drug problem at one point. That's honestly at one point that I would probably have told you that's the main thing they were looking for in our bags. It's like, fuck the blueprints, but do you got weed and shit on you? That's what we're looking for. But yeah, that was always annoying too. But when you, seriously, after those isolation 3 hours felt like 12 in those cases. It's just like silence in the office. So when I would walk to the security desk, just quietly, and I would get to the security guy, and they would stop me to check my bag. I was almost grateful to see them, even though they were patting me down and looking for shit on me. Which, by the way, every single day, if they felt your phone in your pocket, they made you pull it out to prove it was your phone. It's like, guys, you see me every fucking night. This isn't nothing. They're like, you gotta do it. Pull out your phone. So you pull out your phone, be like, yeah. Oh, what the fuck? ZBrush, I'm allowed to talk. Don't do that shit. It's like, oh, were you talking? Well, we're gonna show a slideshow. Fuck you. But yeah, seriously, every night, just checking us all the time. Hey, Chaos Raven, what's up? Just got here, and it looks like a Joker Hyena breed, though I guess some, if not all, Wrathan are a little bit that already. Love the model so far. Thank you. Only got the head. I'm not even done the head, but I'm working on the head. It's going smooth as butter. If butter wasn't smooth. I'll say it's not that bad though. Yeah. Took a break from working on it just to share a little bit of stories. I'm always checking over my shoulder in that warehouse when I close up to make sure Kibbs isn't trying to breed me. Well, no, but Kibbs is the one who gets bred. He doesn't do the breeding. It's the other way around. Gotta know the pattern, my friend. Gotta know the pattern. Alright. Well, I don't know why I'm doing it, but when I'm rotating, I'm doing this with my wrist. It doesn't actually change the way it rotates. It's just like how my wrist flexes it. So I don't know why I'm doing that. Flare, I guess. My own natural flare. What's funny is I'm not half bad at digital sculpting, but like physical sculpting, I suck at. I've tried it a couple times. I've never been able to successfully. It's too big. That's better. Sure, because the thing is, they don't. The way Pyrrhus drew the art, the 2D art, it's very different from how. There we go. The eyes are only going to take up that spot, but a little crevice there. Hold on. Actually, the clay buildup would probably look better there. I used to do night shift 0 to 8 a.m. at a small gas station, but I end up liking the night feel. The weird noise of the coffee machine? Not jock. It make the nose of the door opening. Okay. Can't miss it. Just wait till you finally get a Wrathan model finished and painted. Ooh, it's gonna look dope. When I get there, yeah, I gotta do the digital side. The thing is, you know, keep in mind, most of these models I also got a prototype. This is a prototype. I mean, the head, the tail, the whole damn thing. A gold star to anyone that gets that reference. But yeah, this is This is prototype right now. And the head still looks way more canine than it should, but, well, I should say, looks more like a dog than it should. Obviously, hyenas are canines, so no shit. Prototype Wrathan junk. Should I question why you're so interested in the Wrathan's junk, or should I leave that questioning for a later date? Oh, put my back up. I'm an old man. Yeah. I gotta say this, when I was a young lad, thing is, one thing, I know this is gonna get existential here, but just as a topic, for research purposes, of course, I'm gonna do the eyeballs separate and stick them. Yep, that's always a good practice to do with 3D modeling. You don't typically, in the case of a 3D model, I could get away with it. Like, I could get away with just, like, extruding them center spot there, and that'd just be like a little divot someone can paint the eye on. But in my case, I'm gonna try and put in like a separate sphere, sub geometry into the eye socket, and I'm gonna see how that prints once I convert this from an OBJ to an STL, because that's, you know, you can't 3D print for some reason an OBJ or an FBX file, which is how these 3D software typically export these. So I have a converter software that takes the OBJ/FBX and converts it to an STL with different file types. STLs are the only type of file that a 3D printer, like a resin printer, or even a PLA layer printer will accept. Don't ask me why I didn't design them. So I'm gonna see how like sub-geometry like that transfers from an OBJ to an STL. I've already done one test like that. It's not quite the same thing, but I've done a test. Oops. I've done a test already, so I'm curious to see how it'll look. But the test I did wasn't exactly the same as what I'm going to be doing here, so it's a little bit of a different. Process, but that is why we do it, so we can learn the proper techniques. Alright, so I recall correctly about canine. It's always covered up by fur, but I believe if you were to shave it, there's supposed to be an indent right here. I would look it up, but I'm kind of afraid like what images would show up next to that. So I'm just going to assume I'm correct. Create that divot. I know they say never assume you're correct, but I do all the time, so we'll roll with it. Yeah, it might not be that aggressive, though. Well, it might be. Oh, does that look about right? That looks about right. That's not too aggressive. I think that's the correct indent. I declare this. I am correct. I wish this kind of ambience in most public places. Yeah. I like the chill vibes of my stream. Why'd you retract your message? Of all messages to retract, it's pretty on the line right there. I feel like there is a way to combine the sub-geometry, but I don't remember how to do it. Probably gonna ask my... I'm assuming you meant to say teacher, because Thatcher is very different from teacher. There is a way to do it in Maya. It's just literally the combined geometry tool. In terms of ZBrush, I don't know. I know ZBrush probably does. It's just off the top of my head. Keep in mind, I don't use ZBrush all that often. This is a tool I use only when I absolutely have to sculpt something. Basically, I use ZBrush as a time saver, because you can do everything you do in ZBrush, you can do in Maya or 3ds Max or any other software like that. It's just going to take a lot fucking longer. And it won't look as good either. But you can still do roughly the same thing in Maya, 3ds Max, equals Blender even. Hell, Blender even has a sculpting tool. But I hear it's a less annoying one too, but I'm not going to use it. I got ZBrush, I like ZBrush for what it is, and I don't like Blender, fundamentally. Not to say it's not a good software, by the way. That is a personal preference. If anyone out there watches this or is interested in 3D design, it's literally, if you can learn how to use Blender, you can learn how to use any 3D software. Because Blender is the most free, but it's also the most aggravating and confusing to learn. And so if you can learn Blender, you sure as hell can learn how to use Maya, 3ds Max, ZBrush. Even though ZBrush, I think, has a more annoying UI. My god, ZBrush, you impatient bitch. I get it. It's like, you should be working. I said, yeah, but I'm also streaming, so stop doing that. But, yeah, like I said. Felt kind of clunky. Oh, it was basically the same thing. ZBrush is wonderful, is dumb, but is wonderful. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It's great, but it's confusing as hell in the way that it's great. So Blender isn't free, the cost is sanity. Yes, that's fair. It is indeed the cost of sanity. I know that the devs for Blender get funding to continue to like produce it from they get it from donations, I believe. Don't quote me, by the way. I believe they get it from donations, and they also sell like add-on packages for Blender. Like, I think the sculpting tool in Blender, for example, might be one of those add-ons that you have to buy. But don't quote me. It might come along with the rest of the free stuff. I agree with your dislike of Blender, trying to use it now because I can't afford Inventor, which is what I was taught to use in school. I was taught to use Maya and ZBrush, and my teacher, God bless him, Mr. Wong, probably one of the greatest teachers I've ever had in my life, and I cannot stress enough the amount of respect I have for that man. He mentored me into something I can never thank him enough for. And yeah, you could argue, oh, he was just doing his job, you signed up for the program, so. But nah, the way he taught me how to use this stuff, I cannot express in words the gratitude I feel for it, because this is probably the most impactful skill I've learned over the years, 3D design and modeling. For me, it's the ultimate, it's the ultimate, it's hard to put into words. I want to say hobby, but hobby's wrong. It became a career, like I said, we're the Navy, and it's a skill set that I'm proud of, and every time, the thing is, you guys gotta understand, every time I sit down to work on a model, I'm my own worst enemy, because a part of me is like, oh, you suck at this, you're not really all that good, your attention to detail is fucking garbage, you need to actually learn how to be a good artist. And then when I sit down and actually do it and see what I'm capable of, it reminds me, it reminds me of my own hard work and training in this, but it also, the most important thing it reminds me of is that I'm not letting my old teacher down, and that he taught me well. I don't know if that makes sense, but for me it's a connection to another person, because, again, mad respect to Mr. Wong for teaching me this. This is such a valuable skill that I really would not have gotten as far as I am in life without having learned it. But, I don't know, I definitely say that when I'm angry at other things, when I'm frustrated at other aspects of my life, and if I can sit down and 3D model something or 3D animate something, I'm far happier than without that avenue. Yes, painting miniatures and gluing together miniatures is definitely a close second, but 3D design and 3D modeling, there's no competitor there. There's no comparison there. ZBrush slaps with other people's work. Asmo takes deep breath. Yeah, the thing is, I don't mind seeing other people's work. It's just I find it like I'm only trying to have a quick talk on the side in between like bouts of working, and ZBrush is not patient at all, because I barely have been idle for like a minute, maybe, if that. I mean, come on. All right. So, okay. Now, the one thing I definitely will need to look into doing is how the fuck to do fur in ZBrush. Hell, I don't even know how to do fur in Maya, so that's definitely a skill I'll probably have to learn considering the factions in this. That's not what I wanted to do. It's always the eyes. Something about the eyes always feels like it needs something to fix it. Might be something like that. Now, the ways Pyrrhus drew, they have a much angular, and that's, again, my fault. That's based on my descriptor of, like, the rat-like aspect, or the weasel. Pyrrhus, did I use the term rat, or did I use the term weasel? Because both sound right. I might have used both, but I'm not sure. Hello, this is Mechanicus Tech. How are you, my good man? Currently working on some stuff for Warglaive. Oops. Ooh, definitely don't want it to be that big. That's extreme. Okay, no, that's too rat-like right there. Work? Ah, okay. Hope work isn't being too much of an ass to you. You do not deserve it, my good man. Okay. Okay, so we started out with more rat-like features, and then we moved into camp. I know that was kind of like the discussion flow for sure. I'm trying to remember, because the thing is, the idea was always hyena in there. At least I believe it was. Keep in mind, I've been working on this for a year, so what my initial idea is a year ago, I'm not even sure I remember. Like, I've done so much fine-tuning, rewrites, and like touch-ups. It's hard to remember like what my initial ideas were. And Pyrrhus has been there the entire time, so you're the only other person I have, other than a couple other people I've told over the last year about me working on this in the background. So it's hard to remember like what my initial ideas for every faction were. Like, I know my initial idea with I remember what my I can't talk. My initial idea with humanity was in the universe, and I'm so glad I fixed that. That was definitely a bad idea. My initial idea, anyway. Everyone has bad ideas initially. It takes fine-tuning to get the right juices flowing. And George Lucas wanted Yoda to be a dwarf. What was it? A dwarf squid creature, something like that. At one point, so there's crazy weird ideas all the time. I am learning the 3 program, and let me tell you, they're all jank. ZBrush is confusing to use. Maya is broken. Hey, don't diss Maya. She'll hear you. Rule number 1. Never diss Maya near your computer. She will come at you. She will crash your shit. You may not believe in that superstition. I fucking do, dude. Like, I have literally shit-talked Maya before, and like seconds after I did, it crashed. All my work gone. It's done that. Maya has a soul, and she is very testy. You respect that gal now, or she will crash your shit. 100 out of 100 times, brother. 100 out of 100 times. You may be about to do the hair white, the alpha, or the texture, and a lot of subdivision. Yes. Which is true. Alright, so I think we're going to move up to higher detail here. Alright. I have to work on the lips. Oh, that's why. That's not. Computers are plotting. Yes, they are. What are some of this? the scrapped such bad ideas that you had and can share from the development of Warglaive. Well, I don't want to share them because I don't want you guys to lose faith in me. It's like, oh, what were your bad ideas? Like, oh shit, those were really bad. Should we trust this guy? His ideas are a little crazy. I'll just say I had bad ideas for now. I had some really bad ones. Again, Pyrrhus has been there for most of them. I think my worst idea was my initial idea with the Gretsch. That's why I'm so happy I decided to not retcon. That's the wrong thing. Because it's not, when it's not out yet, you can't retcon something when it's in development. But my idea with the Gretsch, I'm kind of glad, because I was going rogue with that one. I was going really rogue with the idea with the Gretsch, like, to the point where even as I reconsulted my notes at certain portions, I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? I was like, what the fuck? It's like... Yeah, I'll just say I had some really fucked ideas about certain factions. I think the Sovereignty have probably been the most, other than the Sovereignty and the Warborn actually, have been the most consistent in terms of vision. Because I always knew what I wanted the Warborn to be. I just changed up a couple aspects along the route. The Sovereignty, more or less, has been the same idea, just added details, really. But yeah, the Gretsch, if I had to say where the source of a lot of bad ideas was I was really going rogue with that one. Looking back, I was like, I had to have been, like, though I've never done drugs in my life, I'm questioning if somehow I was, and just at that point, and just don't recollect correctly. Yes, yes, of course I mean to say that Maya did nothing wrong. It's absolutely not Maya's fault that the same minute that worked 3 times in a row will cause a fatal error. Maya is a good girl. Yes, yes. Careful, she'll cause even dumber shit to happen. Actually, the funny thing is, hold on. I think in terms of additions of Maya, that probably caused the most issues in like my class. The way we're learning Maya had to have probably been in Maya 2019. We had this weird fatal crash at one point. Still not sure what caused it. It was like, it wasn't just one person's Maya service, that was like everybody's. We still don't know why. It was some kind of licensing issue, but we're not sure how that came about because none of us had that same licensing issue even a day beforehand. Weird stuff happens. Especially when you least expect it. Do not tempt fate or Maya. Maya would get you 10 out of 10 times. Maya, a very unforgiving lady. Do not diss her, for she will fuck your shit. It is proven. It is known. Hold on. Actually, I have a better idea than that. Fuck. I hate navigating ZBrush. I do. My passion. Okay. Alright, so what do I need to do with these? Shape's roughly the same. I guess the only thing I need to do is a little adjustment. Here's a little wider. And of course, it'd be a good idea to add wrinkles there. The ears start. Not many. These ears are typically pretty smooth. A little bit since they're curved. It is none. Well, it's just like the shine saving bug. I mean, one day it is all okay, and one day all my saving messages were in chain. Weird. 20 minutes or so. I know, right? It's like machines can hear you, and they are sensitive. You hurt a machine's feelings, they will not forgive you. The machine spirit is real, people. Alright, so be a bit bigger than that. You must now burn the holy incense and recite the machine prayer. Exactly. I find it ironic, the guy with the trays in the infinite. The relationship between the Adeptus Mechanicus... Well, relationship. The dichotomy between the Adeptus Mechanicus and the... Necrons. My brain. It's getting to that point where my brain's starting to shut down. It's like, son, we do not got time to recall shit. Alright, it's almost 3 in the morning. Well, not really, it's almost 2 in the morning. Still got another hour till it's 3. But still, son, gotta take that time. Gotta take that time. I do doth declare. Every southerner around the world is... Around the world, yeah. Every southerner in the United States is now out for my blood. So hey Earl, he made fun of our accent. Well, we'll get him one day, Earl. We'll get him one day. Just not today. Safest day to make. Right. It's always the smaller details I'm more paranoid about. Alright, now for the really small detailing. Which probably won't show up in prints, but or another thing I'm doing for Warglaive. I guess I'll give you guys a little bit of spoilers for those who are here. I'm actually also working on like an animated, not, well, what I call it, an intro? An animated sequence, for Warglaive. It will be for the Kickstarter eventually. And in it, I just have to, it's basically gonna be like, I want to say 10 seconds. It's just the intro sequence to the video for the eventual Kickstarter of me talking about it. And it'll probably serve to be the outro as well. It's 3D animated. It'll have different bits. It'll have different bits and bobs in it. I want the bits and bobs to be actually won't be like imitations of the 3D models that'll be printable. It'll be the actual 3D objects that you will have for miniature bits put into the scene. So it also serves as a sneak peek in a 3D animated fashion to see the bits that you will eventually be able to purchase for Warglaive. I'll probably be mostly heads though, since I also want to get it done within the next couple months, and getting full bodies of these guys done is going to be a bit too much of a headache before then. At least, possibly. I don't know, I might be able to get a couple of things wrapped up. It's a little smaller, actually. It's not looking how I want it to look. Add a bit of scar tissue. I can get it to look right. Okay, that was still mirrored. It's on both sides, doesn't look like scar tissue. Looks like an attempt at detailing. Have to go now. Thanks for streaming, Asmo. I really like all the material you've shown for this awesome universe, this game you're creating. Yeah, thank you for joining, man, and hope you have a great rest of your day. And hoping to keep showing off more to you guys as time goes forward. Trying to keep momentum going for it. Now, does that look like a scar? Does it look more like a... Well... 4 divisions might not be enough divisions to do a scarred justice. We'll do it again. Alright, have a good one too, Nathan. Thank you for joining for when you could. Much appreciated, man. And have a good night. Sorry, it's night for me. Have a great day. See you. I forget easily. I'm the only one in my time zone probably right now. It's probably awake. IKEA. So what every Swede does every time they see IKEA. IKEA. It's like it's like a sports team. It's like IKEA, bruh. It's Swedes. We gotta find something to be proud of. IKEA. Sorry, busting balls. All right. 2 AM club represent. So I'm not alone. Not the only late night worker here. Yeah, I'll probably live stream so I'm ready to hop off to biddy. To the biddy. Bye. What was the first cool thing you made in 3D? Based on my opinion or other people's? To go on my opinion, the first cool thing I ever made in 3D was, and it was based on the time. I probably wouldn't consider it as cool now. But the first cool thing I thought I ever made was when I first started working with special effects in Maya. The thing I first discovered how to do what's called bullet effects, which is how you do the, like, basically it's how you animate something like debris falling apart and crushing. It's when you have like a solid mesh, and then you tell the software, like, hey, this is how much of the mesh I want to be able to split apart. This is the parameters for it to fall apart, like glass or like rubble from a building that's falling apart. You give it the parameters, you set up like how sticky the stuff is. For me, when I first ever did a bullet effect like that and sent a round shape just at a block I was practicing on, for me that's like when I really start to feel the cool factor of 3D, not only 3D modeling but 3D animation. For me, like that was the first cool thing, as I would word it, that I got to do. But if we're talking about just like raw models and stuff, like, oh, I got plenty of examples of models I thought were pretty decently cool. Not as much now, you know. A lot of the stuff when you first do it is a lot cooler than later on. It's all opinionation, though. Opinionation. Is that even a word? Probably not. So, let's go to the side. Do it over here, too. Yeah, but in terms of other people's opinions, I was told the coolest thing I made back in school by my peers was the first human model I did, like a full one mesh humanoid character. Now, to a normal person or someone who's not like really into modeling and animation, they're like, oh well, human character, that's a dime a dozen, like everybody does that, right? But when you're first learning how to model and design stuff in 3D, believe it or not, it's a huge step to do a human character and do it right. Like, that is not something a very brand new beginner, like when you first pick up 3D software, it is not going to be the very first thing you know how to do. Period. It's just, that is not something you just pick up and immediately know how to do. Now, granted, if you're looking at tutorials, that's a different argument, but instinctually and practice-wise, it's not going to be something. I definitely don't recommend to brand new modelers to just jump into the deep zone like that, because there's so many aspects about 3D modeling and design that you need to learn before you should jump into a humanoid character. So, what's up, Voided Steel? Ever tried Blender? Yes. I don't like Blender. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. Personal preference. I never liked the UI. It's kind of garbage. I mostly use Maya. That's what I was trained in. That's what I like to use. But, using ZBrush just because this is a more detailed character than I can do in Maya, at least in the same amount of time. Making a face is hell. Honestly, the face is not much of in my opinion, isn't that big of a deal. It's the body. The head as a whole, including the face, can be a bit of a nightmare. Like in something like Maya or 3ds Max. in particular. But I would say Ben there. Which there? Because, keep in mind, you guys are like responding to things I said 30 seconds ago, so not sure what that's in response to. That could mean be in response to a couple things I said. Yeah, but just jumping into the deep end, modeling a humanoid character from, yeah, that's incredibly, like, if you can do it without consulting too many tutorials from the get-go, then you have a natural talent. Most do not, that is for sure, and that's something worth cultivating. But generally, to newbies to 3D animation, 3D design, I would highly recommend that you start with something much more simple and smaller than a full-scale humanoid form. I feel that's a terrible start for most people. If if someone really wants to jump in at the deep end, like, I'm not gonna fault anybody for that. Like, if that's how you want to learn, but you don't do the Dark Souls-esque thing on their face. Yeah, I made a face in 3ds Max. I don't want to look at it anymore. The thing scared me. Yeah, 3ds Max, Maya, Blender, they're not great for doing faces, at least well. Especially if you're going for like humanoid. You're going for like robotic or stuff like that, something with more raw geometry. That's the thing. Maya is the best 3D, in my opinion, is like the best rigging and animation software out there, in my opinion. Period. I'd say it's virtually got no sculpting, and it's got some basic sculpting tools in it, but not very good ones. So I'd recommend, if you like do heads or faces with any kind of detail, do them in something like ZBrush. Yeah. That way I can blend that into the rest of the face better. You can send a picture to my Discord? Yeah, sure. Why not? Go ahead. I will check in just a moment. Oh, the dirty necessities, huh? Would that go in hashtag? Yeah, I'd say hashtag artwork is probably the best place for that, yeah. Oh shoot, I have symmetry on my phone. I always gotta hate it when you forget to turn symmetry on or off. It's an unnecessary pain in the ass. It's entirely your fault when you forget it. Oh, hold on. One second, bro. I'll check it in just a moment. Just. Alright. A second to rest my wrist anyway. Ow. Oh, I felt the click there. Alright. Oh, avoided steal. I didn't even share a link. Must have found on my channel page. Work. Oh god. And to be fair though, I'm not gonna diss this too hard, because if this is your first human face, especially if you did it in 3ds Max, this is not bad. I don't think so. It's horrifying, don't get me wrong, it's gonna give me nightmares. But in terms of beginner work, this definitely looks like something you would see in a game back in the early, like, I want to say like early old school games, like on like a smaller character, like more simplistic geometry. So this is what I would consider professional work for that, like the old school era. So what you made here is actually very solid. You know, if we're judging it by today's standards, obviously this wouldn't be in any modern game, short of an indie game. But but I always think it's fair to also compare things to like the evolutionary state of the field as a whole. Because if this is your first face, you're starting out with a skill level that was considered professional and high quality back in the early days of gaming. So that's where you're starting, and that means your personal evolution as a 3D artist is only going to improve vastly as you go. If this is a starting point, this is a starting point you'd want as a 3D artist. So, and yeah, it looks like Nightmare Fuel, it looks kind of scary, but it is in line with old school models and stuff from like I said, like the 90s games, like really blocky, basic, generic features, nothing too detailed. Late 90s, early 2000s, I should say. So yeah, it's not a bad place to start. Yeah, it's almost 3 in the morning for me, Urus Osium. I'm you know, as I mentioned earlier to the chat, this is when, like, this peak hours I'm used to working. Because when I worked for the Navy, I did a lot of skeleton hours like this. So this is what I'm used to. This is like my normal crunch hours to work. For me, it's weird to work during the day, but I do there too as well. What do I torture myself? I don't consider it torture, you know? It's not like I don't like doing this. It is way too high poly to be considered retro. Well, to be fair, you didn't show me the poly count, so that would definitely hurt you a little bit if you showed me the poly count and it was extremely high. Okay, dokie. White thing of hair, I don't know why they're white in the invisible place. Ain't better white than just a sunken hole of death. Is way too up. It's okay, like I said. I've seen worse starting points, or finishing points I should say, for artists. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is the chin. I'm gonna go with the move tool. This where we start getting into some of the more alien features of the Wrathan. They got very pointy little jaws. Granted, part of it is because their lip drags a little bit. That's why the upper jaw. There's a little bit of a droop to it. Mm. 20k to 40k is my limit just because I like the simpler shapes. Polygons? Yeah, I know how you feel. Me, I have a bad habit of going really fucking high. Well, it depends. If I'm doing like a sculpt, like I'm doing here, I end up always doing a shit ton more subdivisions than I necessarily need to. Should usually call. You shouldn't really ever need to go, especially for like specific details. You should never have to go to like 7 subdivisions, for example. Like I can see going down to like 5 if you're like really going to high detail, like these really minute bits and bobs. But yeah, I have a bad habit of going really high in the poly count as well. And for me, it's just a way of maintaining the detail. That's probably why. Oh, you're good at auto-saved. Stop it. Speaking of... I always forget, like, what the proper thing is to save. Do you save the tool, or do you save this? Yeah, because there's like 3 different things you can save with ZBrush. You can save the file. You can save the tool, or in other words, like the actual shape of the head. Can I export like this? It's weird. Or I save this as a proper file. Just so you guys don't see my organization, or my or in this case, piss poor organization. Shade. There it is. Seven subdivides one. Yeah, like I said, seven should never be where you drop down to. Like 5 is already good enough. 7, way too over the top. I'm gonna get you, Smile. Yeah. Teeth are gonna be sub-geometry. Which probably won't need to be more than subdivided, more than 2. Crap. I'm still trying to figure out where to save this thing. Technically it's on a Maya file, so... Properly saved. Oh, man. How's everybody holding up? Alright. Should probably head to bed then, mister. Go to bed, you got school tomorrow. Yeah, I probably should be going to bed soon, but I'm on a roll, so. Damn it all, I don't surrender. I'm looking at time and saying to myself that I should go to bed myself if I want to be up for 8. Yeah. I'll probably clock out and ignore my alarm for a good hour past the point I should. That's me. I'm not great at keeping up with that. That is the truth. God's damned honest truth, I say. Yes. Or is something that feels a little off? Power of sleep compels you. No, the power of sleep is not there. That is the problem. I get how you feel. Now I'm asking myself if I start doing the teeth and like the eyes now, I'm gonna want to keep going longer, and I'll be up all night again. I made a habit of that. It's not good. If you start doing the teeth, you aren't going to bed for another hour. Probably not. Hey, Marin. Good morning, you sexy beast. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll probably call it there. And pick up in the morning. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. I didn't think that many people would join me in the morning. It was fun. I hope you guys all have a great day. Probably gonna hit the hay. Made some pretty good progress on the Wrathan's head. Got a lot more work to do with it tomorrow. But yeah, thanks, guys. Have a nice night. You guys have a great day. Night night.